Ho ho ho, and welcome to this quaint and quite experimental ASMR video. I hope you're doing well, and if not, then as always, I hope that I can at least improve your mood a little bit, especially in this festive time. My name is Avande, and today I want to wrap up a little gift just for you. And when I say that this video is gonna be experimental, then I mean it, because I've not really planned this out. I've not really tested if these triggers are gonna work. But I was actually wrapping up the last of the gifts, and then I thought, wait, this could be a good ASMR video. It's maybe gonna be a pseudo roleplay, not really. But yeah, I have a 6-step plan for you, so you know how to wrap gifts and what to do. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope that this is still a nice holiday gift, holiday surprise, something to help you relax and fall asleep, while also having some sort of meaning. And I feel in a very festive mood because, in case you didn't notice, I finally have my commissions. 2/3, but that's all the ones I need for my channel, and so I updated the channel look just a little bit. Maybe people won't recognize my icon now. That's fine. Alright. I want to wrap a little gift just for you. And in order to use the 6-step plan, we're gonna have to start with the first step. And the first step is called present. Very basic, but we are gonna need a present to gift to someone else. A few things to consider when picking out a gift is that a gift should always be something that the other person would want or could need, you know. But it's important to also keep in mind that a gift should come from the heart, right? And it should basically tell the other person, hey, I see you, I know you, and I picked this out specifically because I know that you will like it. I picked out something for you guys, and it's gonna be a little weird because the gift that I picked out for you and that I'm gonna wrap for you is ASMR. Now, I know ASMR is not a tangible object. So what am I tapping on? It's a carton box, to put it simply, which will serve as a metaphor for ASMR in this case. I cannot grab the concept of ASMR and wrap it up for you. I have not yet acquired that skill. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to presents is that it shouldn't be dirt cheap, but it also doesn't have to be expensive. Money doesn't necessarily, dictate how well a present will be received. At least I believe so. But, if you stand in front of an aisle of perfumes for the sake of argument. Sorry, I had to cut there quickly. I'm back now. Back to it. You're in front of an aisle of perfumes, and there are 3 to choose from. There is a perfume for €1, a perfume for €10, and a perfume for €50. To put it simply, I would advise to pick the €10 perfume. €1 doesn't really scream that you made an effort, but you also don't have to pay 50 for perfume. The middle ground is perfectly fine. And this ironically brings us to the last point that I wrote down. A present doesn't have to be perfect. This is gonna suck for all the perfectionists out there, but as long as it comes from the heart, and you know that the other person could want or need it, that's enough. So don't stress out too much. Right. So we chose our present, and thus the first step has been finished. So let's move on to step 2, which is called wrapping paper. And this is going to be delicate, so keep that in mind. Wrapping paper is quite important for the gift wrapping process. A gift can be very well chosen, right? It's the perfect gift for someone. And then you wrap it up in toilet paper. It's not gonna look good. And because appearances matter, choosing the correct wrapping paper is indeed a very important step. Now, I have 2 wrapping papers in front of me. One is pristine. It's mostly white, has a very modern and sort of regal design. However, it's less festive. On the other hand, oh, this is gonna be weird. we have actually a wrinkly wrapping paper. It is a more traditional design. It has a lot of greenery, red flowers, even some Christmas tree decorations on it. It is by all accounts more traditional, maybe even more conservative. But I would like to call it the good old reliable. There's barely any left of it. It's been used for many years. Now, call me a stickler for rules. Or maybe it's the fact that I was brought up in a small rural village. But I'm gonna go with the good old reliable, more traditional wrapping paper for this gift. Of course, you should always think about who you give the gift to, who it is for, and choose the wrapping paper according to the receiving person. In this case, though, you're not really gonna receive a tangible gift to break the fourth wall, and so I'm just gonna pick this one, as tradition dictates. Now, if you're gonna be very crazy and maybe a little lazy, just like me for the last couple of years, you can also choose little gift bags instead of wrapping it up. I would encourage you to look up how to wrap gifts. It's always, I personally think, more pleasing to the eye when a gift has been wrapped instead of just tossed into a bag. But it is up to you. This is your journey as much as it is mine. And in a more philosophical way, the wrapping paper stands for wrapping up the year in a positive way. Put a nice, design or facade around it. Wrap it up. And I hope that you can or are able to wrap up this year full of crazy happenings in a nice way, in a positive way. And thus have I chosen the wrapping paper, which brings us to the next step on our list. The third step is called scissors. Now, if you hear scissors, you might think, oh, that sounds a bit foreboding. After all, scissors are sharp. They are used to cut, obviously. And to cut something means to destroy something, right? Well, You can certainly see it that way. I see it a little differently. Because sometimes in life, you have to cut or reduce something to have them fit. And I'm talking about a lot of stuff here, potentially. It can be material, like wrapping paper. If you have too much wrapping paper, it's not gonna look nice. In fact, it's gonna be overloaded, maybe ruining the shape. Maybe having the end result look less pleasing. Sometimes you have to cut a piece of food off so that the rest of the food is still digestible. It can also be said about the social circle or the social interactions. Maybe you stress yourself out trying to make everyone happy. Where you should really cut out some of those social interactions to take time for yourself. Maybe there is a toxic person in your social circle, but you still surround yourself with them because of old memories or the fact that you can't let go, when really it might be a good idea to spend some time apart and grow individually. I'm gonna have to cut the wrapping paper a little bit to have it fit the form of the present. In this very specific case, the scissors stand for cutting all of the bad memories you've made this year off, as well as stories, situations, happenings. And you cut them off, you leave them behind you to start the new year with a clean slate. It might be a little paradoxical to cut off social interactions in the most festive time of the year. But there is still some time till New Year's Eve. And I don't know about you guys, this year has been pretty rough on me. Just personally, it's not like there's a war in our country. But just individually, bad choices, bad ideas, wrong priorities. The end result is that I'm quite spent and quite exhausted. But I'm gonna leave those things behind. There is also a lot of positive that I have seen and that happened to me in this year, especially towards the end of the year, and I'm gonna focus on that. I'm gonna at least try to leave the bad stuff behind. That's the best I can do. And I hope you can do the same. I have finished cutting the wrapping paper, and so the third step, is finished. Let's move on to the fourth step, which is actually wrapping up the gift. So we need our gift. Put it in front of us. We measure the amount of tape. We measure the amount of wrapping paper that we're going to need for the gift. We put the wrapping paper on the table. Very crinkly. And we place the gift in the middle of the wrapping paper. As I said, experimental. And I don't actually have a visual guide for this, but you can look up ways to wrap up gifts online. It's going to be very helpful. And wrapping the gift up basically means that we take all of the ingredients, all of the things I talked about, and we put them together into a bundle. And there are gonna be some more things after the wrapping up part that we're gonna talk about. They also belong to the final product, obviously. Alright, that should be it. Especially because those sounds probably were awful. So let's move on to step 5, because you might be asking yourself if this is a 6-step plan and step 4 is wrapping up the gift, what are we doing? Well, step 5 is called sticky tape. And it is quite sticky. Sometimes things have to be mended. That is true for materials. That is true for relationships. Maybe something happened, something was damaged or destroyed. But there's no need to throw it away outright, to bury it forever, to distance yourself from it. Sometimes broken things can still be repaired and mended. But sticky tape is also used to secure something, right? To fix it to something. The wrapping paper included. And so let us use this sticky tape on the wrapping paper. And I need another one. Secured. The sticky tape stands for security and safety. Right? It is a basic human need to be safe and secure. And I think we all know that not every country, not every place on this world offers safety and security for the people. I hope that you guys can be safe and secure in the coming days, in the next year, and in the future as well. This is part of my gift, security and safety, as much as you can have. Step 6 is a little controversial, but it is a pen. You know, sometimes you might want to send a nice message or put your name on something so that the receiver knows who the gift is from, right? Maybe you want to attach a nice greeting, a heartfelt thanks, just any message really. And so do I in this case. I want to put something on this gift that's dear to me and that's important to me. And I'm gonna write it. In case you were wondering, I wrote down, "With love, Avande." And with that, the gift has been wrapped, all the steps were followed, and we are done. I hope you guys all have a nice Christmas or at least some nice holidays. I hope that 2026 can start amazingly for you and that 2025 doesn't leave too much damage behind. And without further ado, thank you for watching.